Hey everyone, today we've got another top 10 video for you. This time we're taking a look at the most banned champions in League of Legends so far in Season 12. Some champions are definitely banned more in certain ranks than others, but overall here's a breakdown of those champions who just hate Champion Select. Starting off in that number 10 position, we've got Akali. So far this season, Akali has really been troublesome for the general population of players. Akali's kit allows her to one-shot backlines on her own, and save team fights that didn't seem winnable at all. Akali has the potential to overcome the most unlikeliest of situations and turn them around and come out on top. However, the main thing that makes people ban Akali is just how quickly she can carry games when she gets those few early kills. Akali genuinely snowballs harder than Nunu. Honestly, you make a few mistakes or she gets a few too many ganks early game, and the next thing you know she's got 25 stacks on her Magi's and she's one-shotting you without even needing her ultimate. Akali has all of the tools she needs to be insanely oppressive when she's fed. She's got mobility, stealth, burst, and then some more mobility. Not to mention a ridiculous amount of damage. Akali has held over a 20% ban rate for the entire Season 12 so far, and although she's not abusing the Chem Tank base damage build anymore, the usual full AP burst build is still easily worth banning her out for. Next at number 9 we have Yasuo. One of those champions that nobody likes to play against or have them play alongside them. Enemy Yasuo players have the mechanics of Faker on steroids, and they dart in and out dealing massive damage and blocking every skill shot under the sun with their wind wall. Yasuo's on your team however go 0-10 inside 10 minutes and then spam ping you until their fingers fall off. There really is no in between with this champion, and he's probably the only champion in this video you don't want to see on either team. Yasuo was probably the first champion introduced into League of Legends that had what really felt like an overloaded kit. He's got infinite dashes, low cooldown crowd control, high burst, good scaling, and a wind wall that can turn any fight. And of course, his AoE crowd controlling and damaging ultimate. All of these things make Yasuo a real handful when played by the right person. And if you go against a good one, you quickly understand this champion's potential. Yasuo still has a 25% ban rate in patch 12.5, and this has stayed at a very similar level all season. Number 8 goes to Yuumi. Now Yuumi is enough trouble in the bot lane. She has heals, movement speed buffs, poke, AoE CC, and of course all of those enchanters items alongside the double combat summon a spell advantage. Yuumi encourages a very frustrating playstyle, and she's annoying enough as it is in the lane phase, but it's how she influences her fed teammates that make her such a difficult champion to beat. When Yuumi gets partnered up with a champion that she can really gel with, she becomes instantly more impactful. Yuumi with a Hecarim, a Kayn, Akali, Twitch, Zeri, Garen and so on is just so frustrating and very difficult to play against. If Yuumi's AD carry sucks, she just abandons them and joins her fed teammate instead. Yuumi has always been one of the most banned support champions since she came along, and I genuinely do not think this will ever change unless she gets a rework sometime soon. Talking of champions that Yuumi really can abuse games with, we've got Hecarim in the number 7 spot. This punishing pony has been terrorizing players all season, and he really has been one of the top god tier junglers for the whole time. Hecarim has really thrived this season. Whether you build Divine Sunder or Bruiser or Chem Tank Muramana, this guy seems to walk all over the majority of games. His high damage, his insane movement speed, his fast clear times, and just overall dominance in the Rift has made him so much better than the majority of all other junglers this season. Hecarim can be on the other side of the map, and you still have to respect his ganks just due to how quickly he can get to you. This guy runs around the map so quickly, and when you do see him, he deals the majority of the health pool in 2 clicks. This champion really is either one you see all of the time, or you never see him whatsoever. He's either broken or kind of irrelevant. Right now though, he's absolutely absurd. Hecarim is getting some nerfs in patch 12.6 next week though, so maybe it's time you Hecarim mains got off your high horse and tried someone new. Number 6 goes to Morgana. Now this one is a bit different, as she's definitely banned far more often in lower ranks, especially so in gold as her ban rate is around 30% here. Morgana brings so much to the table, and if there weren't so many modern champions in League of Legends with infinite dashes, she'd probably be one of the best champions in the game. Morgana has so much crowd control. And that dark binding makes you feel like you can pop to the supermarket, get your week's worth of groceries, stop for a coffee on the way home and still make it back in time before that crowd control ends. Morgana's Black Shield is also one of the best abilities in the game. Being able to prevent incoming CC is so insane and very unique to this champion. So if you play someone like Nautilus or Thresh and you want to abuse bot laners, a good Morgana can completely prevent that, which is likely one of the main reasons she's banned so much. Morgana's poke, her catch potential and her kill threat in lane is also really strong too, and less experienced players will have a very tough time against it. There's only so much tormented soil you can sit in before you consider banning her too. In the number 5 spot, we've got a far more obvious choice, Irelia. Irelia is some players' worst nightmare. She is a complicated high skill ceiling solo laner with the opportunity to abuse leads like no one you've seen before. Irelia's early kill threat starts her off, but then it's how she can punish with that lead that makes her so hard to beat. One early kill on this champion turns into 2 or 3 easily, and then once she has her ultimate and an item or 2, she'll dive you and dive you and dive you again. Irelia's early game damage, sustain and mobility are definitely reasons lots of players ban her, but it's actually her mid game core item spike that makes her so punishing to play against. Death Dance is just so strong, and on this champion even more so, and it makes her feel pretty much immortal. A split pushing side lane Irelia with a few kills under her belt is very hard to shut down, and she can definitely run away with games if she knows what she's doing. Combine that with the fact that people don't know how to play against Irelia, and you've got a very ban-worthy champion this season. Number 4 goes to Blitzcrank. The one hit wonder, or shall I say the one hook wonder, has always had this highly banned status, and that's probably never going to change. The whole dynamic of bot lane changes instantly as soon as this champion is picked. And no matter how much you feel you're in control, one good hook and you're back instantly to square one. Playing against Blitzcrank is a very unique experience. You have to respect him from as early as the first minute, as those invades can decide games if they go his way. Blitzcrank's threat in lane is hard to argue with, and then his roams and his catch potential throughout the rest of the games make him so frustrating to play against. Blitzcrank literally is a hit or miss champion. If those hooks don't land, he can feel utterly useless, and if he roams mid, misses his hook, and gets nothing from it, he can then lose the game from it. However, if those hooks do land, he can easily carry games by himself so often. The number 3 spot is going to go to Tryndamere. Similar to some of the champions in this list, this guy snowballs ridiculously hard, and arguably harder than anyone else in the entire League of Legends champion roster. Tryndamere's strengths start from as early as level 1, and his auto attack damage and inbuilt crit make him so hard to lane against. If Tryndamere gets an early kill on you in lane, which is going to happen fairly often, he can easily come back in lane and kill you again. And similar to Irelia, he'll just kill you again, and dive you and kill you again. When Tryndamere gets his ultimate, he is now unkillable, literally. And you now have decided that after experiencing this, you're probably going to permaban this guy too. Tryndamere really is the definition of a champion who can thoroughly abuse a lead. He will sit there in the top lane and split push to his heart's content, and one-shot anyone who tries to stop him. There is a really good reason why so many Tryndamere one-tricks are such high elo. This champion is such a pub-stomping powerhouse, and if you know how to abuse him, and you understand this champion's limits, you can climb anywhere. But please note, I'm not encouraging you to pick him up and play him, especially if you're against me. Number 2 is Zed. This champion has had one of the highest ban rates ever since he was released, despite not actually being as popular and as powerful as some of the other Flavour of the Month or seasonal picks. Zed has always done the same thing. He pokes you down, he all-ins you, he gets a lead, and then he dives you with his ultimate every time it's back off cooldown. A lot of players do not know how to play against Zed, and that's why he has such a higher ban rate at lower ranks. Between Iron to Gold, his ban rate is 45%. In Plat, it's 40. In Diamond, it's still over 30, and at Master Plus, it's around 20%. These ban numbers are just ridiculous and truly demonstrate that players do not want to play against a good Zed player. If you know what you're doing on this champion, you can rack up so many kills, so much farm, and become such a hard champion to beat. A large part of why so many people ban Zed too is that he's so difficult to shut down due to his mobility and the nature of his shadows. Good Zed players can make it so you can never actually catch them, especially if you're lacking some CC. And he can feel pretty immortal if he can utilise his shadows correctly. Zed truly has instilled fear in his enemies since the day he was released, and still is to this day almost a decade later. Finally, in the number 1 spot, we've got one of the fastest and slipperiest champions ever made, Zeri. She is easily one of the most broken champions to hit the Rift for a while, and yes, we haven't forgotten about Viego. But Zeri has just been like nothing you've ever seen before. She has so much mobility and movement, she just feels unstoppable. She's been nerfed and changed several times already, and she only came out a few patches ago. Zeri's consistent damage output isn't even mentioned when you consider all of the things that make this champion broken, as who actually cares how much damage she does when she's impossible to actually hit with anything. Zeri now has a weaker early game, and does take a bit more time to ramp up rather than being just broken at all levels like she was nearer her release. But she's still easily capable of 1v9 in games. I mean, let's just talk about the stats. Zeri's current ban rate is around 40% at all ranks, until you get to Diamond Plus, and then it shoots up to 50%. That is literally half of all games played that Zeri is banned in. If that doesn't demonstrate just how strong this champion is, I really don't know what will. So there you have it guys, the top 10 most banned champions in League of Legends Season 12. What champion do you guys prioritize banning and why? A good friend of mine in Master Tier is still banning Katarina every single game and has done for as long as I've known him. That's all from us here at Mobalytics, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.